Hello, hello, beautiful people. Welcome to another, I love that. Welcome to another episode of the DevRel show. I think it's episode number 53. It's
Yeah.
going strong. Always having fun doing that. And today won't be different because I'm with my man, Chris. How is life, Chris?
Oh, life, we're 10 toes down, 6 feet above ground. I can't complain except for the wildfire smoke. So we're good.
That is crazy, and it's coming from us. Sorry about that. Like there's like crazy wildfire in Ontario and Canada, also in Quebec. I think the one you're getting is mostly from Ontario, but there's also wildfire going in Quebec. We're briefly talking before the show, and unfortunately now it's a recurrence. Like every summer for the last 3 or 4 years, like we have wildfire, like either like some places in Canada. And I was reading recently, and I can't remember. Like there's 25% of like a specific type of like trees or forest that is in Canada for the rest of the world. So like Canada is freaking large. We have like places where like there's a lot of people living, but also we have like a lot of forest, which is a great resource, which is great for nature. It's great for having
Yep.
some green, but it also means it's like I don't know. It's not my expertise. Maybe we should have done a better job of managing them, because I think my understanding is like the old trees, you need to burn them down before they burn themselves and like start those
Yeah.
wildfire. And I don't think we did a pretty good job in Canada for that. And anyway, it's just, the earth is going to shit there and,
Right,
the
right.
weather and everything. So unfortunately, I think it's going to be a problem for the remaining years of the rest of our life. I think we're going to have, unfortunately,
Yeah.
like that.
Oh, well, it is what it is.
It is what it is. But, because for the better or worse, life continue. We're going to talk about DevRel today. But yeah, just wanted to start. First question that I ask everybody, because it's not about me, it's about people watching it. Who are you?
Oh, who am I? Well, it depends on who you talk to, really. Me, I am a developer advocate, lead, senior, whatever title you want to give me at TuxCare. I am a competitive bass angler, so I get in my boat or someone else's boat and fish for money.
I didn't know
I
that.
Yeah. I travel the country, um, building out different micro communities and all the cool stuff that I like doing, like paintball and chasing Bigfoot and UFOs and attending paranormal conventions.
Nice.
So I mean, I try to stay busy and do a little bit of everything. So that's who I would say I am. But like I said, depends who you talk to.
No, that's great. This is why I like that question. And I always tell the guests before we start the show, you say as little as much as you want. And it depends who's on the mic. But most of us, we talked a lot. So we always go to, like, some people are like, oh, I'm a developer advocate at company X. And that's stuff there. But most people will
Right.
give a little more fluff. And what I like is that it's either someone I do not know, which is not the case right now. We know each other, but like someone that like, hey, we never met, we never really talked. They're a guest on the show, so I learned everything about that person, because I don't do pre-meeting for the show. I want that discussion to be natural. So even people that I don't know, I'm like, hey, you come on the show. That's going to be a discussion between two friends. We don't prepare questions. I don't prepare questions. We don't talk before just to know where we're going.
Right.
So I learn always a lot. But like, it's also interesting when I have someone like you, which I know you enough, but I still learn stuff about about what you. I had no idea about the bass thing, or even the paranormal. I don't know why to go with that word. Paranormal, like activities that you're doing, chasing UFO and stuff like that. So that's great. I have a question that is quote unquote burning me, and you're gonna see my really bad wordplay here. No, not this one. Actually, this one. Salt and Burnham, like your Twitter username. Where is that coming from?
So I love it. Every time I open up with a conference talk and I say, hey, everyone, you can reach me on Twitter at Sultan Burnham or Blue Sky at whatever. I always ask everybody, or tell everybody, if they're a Supernatural fan, they'll understand the reference to Sultan Burnham, the TV show Supernatural. So I'm a huge Supernatural fanboy. I've been into the show for probably since it started. And one of the ways that in the show, one of the ways that you get rid of a entity or a bad a bad ghost or anything is you salt and burn the bones, or you salt and burn something of theirs. So I just salt and burn them, and it stuck.
That's great. I never made the connection. I mean, like I wouldn't consider myself a fan in the sense of like the definition of being a fan. Like I love the show. I watched the show once, like I don't know, like 45 seasons of the show. I love the actors. I was so happy actually recently, like they were all in The Boys. So there was some kind of like reunion. So I like them, but like maybe now I'm not fan enough that like I made the connection between those. So and
yes, Dan, it is. The entity is in the room with us. It's over here, or maybe it's right here.
Yeah. Hi Dan, thanks for joining us live. So yeah, usually what I like to talk with people, it goes in like so many directions, but because it's the DevRel show, I like to talk about DevRel. So first question for you. You're a senior developer advocate at TuxCare, or you said also lead developer advocate. I'm just looking at your LinkedIn right now. What does that mean to be a senior developer advocate at TuxCare?
Oh, that means being able to, well, I mean, like it depends, right? That means being able to foster relationships with the community, helping developers get from zero to hello world as quickly as possible, trying to remove any bottlenecks that they have, and then also being able to cultivate a community internally, helping out with building the best, helping to build, working with teams to help to build the best application, program, software, docs that you can for the community and the users. Because as a developer advocate, and you know this as well as I do, we are ambassadors to the users, and we are ambassadors to the product and the organization. So we have to be there for them, both internally and externally, and that is what being a senior developer advocate, lead developer advocate at TuxCare is to me.
I like that, and I really like, because quite often when we think about developer relation, a developer advocate, or no matter the title, most people think that like, hey, our job is just like to bring stuff internally, externally, which is, it's part of the job, and this is probably the most visible part of the job, because we speak at events, we do live stream, we do webinar, we do videos, we write blog posts, we do all those kind of things that is like bring the information we have from the product team, from like engineering, from marketing, no matter what, and we bring it to developers. But one of the things you mentioned that, like, from my point of view, is really important is like we do relation with developers, but also internally. Like we represent, like I forget the word you use, but for two things you said, like I think you said advocate for developers internally, but also there's that part where you said I'm also building a community internally. So I like that, because I think that's the job too. Like I wouldn't be able to be successful if I don't have a great relation with other people at a company. But again, also I'm the voice of developers, and I would be curious to understand like how does it translate being the voice of developer internally? Just to understand like if it fits within like what I'm doing right now, if we have like a different approach maybe to that.
Yeah, so I mean, I work close with the docs team and the engineering team. Specifically, the engineering team I work with is the ELS for JavaScript team. So it's the front end ecosystem that I advocate for, the products that we have for Angular, AngularJS, Next, Vue, whatever. We support a lot of front end technologies as well as back end technologies, Java, Spring, tons and tons of things. And we just released an awesome new tool called Secure Chain, and that kind of links with ELS to kind of create like a dome of armor around packages, anything within like the NPM ecosystem, PyPy, that protects pre-end of life as all the way to post-end of life, and kind of cuts off the supply chain. So it keeps everything, it's malware scanned, it's vetted, it's fully secure. The what I try to do is I try to put myself back in the developer shoes, right? I've been a developer for 30 years. You're a developer. You have to be a developer first to be a developer advocate. So I take the dev advocate hat off. I put the developer hat back on, the front end developer hat back on, and I go through the docs and I work on. I try to create small little demos. Let's say like Angular 15. I'll build out an Angular 15 app, scaffold it out. I'll use our product to see if it fixes those vulnerabilities, try to work through the docs a little bit to see if there's any discrepancies. And then I go back to the team and advocate as the developer having to use that product so we can fix it and get it back out into the hands of the developers if it's not working. That's how I advocate internally. And then just bringing up ideas and new ways of doing things and suggestions, right? You have to do that. So
I like that. I like that. Once in a while, I have a guest that like have a different definition of DevRel than I have, and we have a friendly discussion and argue about like your vision. But like quite often, I feel like the industry quite aligned is like what is the job at the end of the day. Unfortunately, not everybody hiring for DevRel agree with what would be the definition of DevRel. But I say like the people that are doing that for a long time, we usually have the same vision. So I really love that you said also like part of it is to you need to be a user of your product. You need to have credibility. You didn't say that, but like this is what I hear. Like you need to be credible when you talk to people, which means that you need to use the product, but you also need to have experience as a developer. And I know it may sound like gatekeeping. I had a discussion a while ago with someone to say like, hey, like you're kind of like gatekeeping the DevRel role. And I'm like, I'm not against someone like doing that role without the experience of the developer, but I think that people will struggle a little more to be successful. Because I say that as a developer, let's say that we're weird people sometimes, and like this is why our role exists too. Like not everybody can approach developer, talk to developers. So you need usually a developer to talk to a developer. So you need to have that experience. You need to build application. You need to understand the struggle that it is to put something in production and be on call or work with customers or work with like technology that change all the time. You need to have that experience to be credible, to be able to connect with developers. So I think it's an important part of what you said too.
Well, the one thing I do, and I do this, and even when I was interviewing last year before I got my role at TuxCare, or even on the TuxCare stream, I was talking to Joey Davia yesterday, and we were talking about this a little bit. Because we talked about DevRel, and then he broke out his accordion at the end and started playing, which was awesome. So if you haven't seen the stream from yesterday, go check that out. But I frame DevRel not as a team, but as a mission at the end of the day. Yes, on paper, it's a team, but I consider it a mission because it's our mission as ambassadors to the users to make sure that they can get through the developer journey from zero to hello world as quickly as possible, right? So I try to, every time I'm doing something or talking to anybody, I'm trying to frame it as a mission, not as a team sort of thing, or I'm on a DevRel team. Yeah, I am on paper, but I'm part of this mission that we call developer relations.
I love that. I've been doing that episode for like that show for a long time now. I've talked to a lot of people who've been doing DevRel for a long time. I think you're the first person to use the word ambassador when talking about like us versus DevRel versus like the rest of the company. And I think it's a perfect word to embody what we need to do internally to represent developer and help them being successful and help the company being successful. Let's be honest too. I mean, like it's about the developers, but like at the end of the day, there's need to be benefit for the employer. I mean, like they need to pay us the salary. So by representing the developers, hopefully, I always say that like if I do my job well, positive side effects is that like even if I don't talk about my product most of the time, like I will fill the top of the funnel and then with potential new users and hopefully potential users that will give us money at some point. Also, I can influence the roadmap and talk to the product team about like, hey, this is what I hear when I talk to people at conferences, and they won't use our product because X, Y, Z. Like we need to put this on the roadmap, or at least if it's in the roadmap, it helps us confirm that we're going the right direction. So
exactly.
I think it's really important.
Those two things are exactly what I've talked about with others, and like I said in interviews when I was interviewing last year is taking that feedback to the teams to get it on the roadmap, or if it's already on the roadmap, being able to take that knowledge and tell the community, hey, it's already on the roadmap and we're already fixing this, so we're already 2 steps ahead of you. Those two things are extremely important.
Yeah, no, they are. And just because I'm gonna go back to a little bit. You just talk about Joey. I love Joey. He's a good friend. I started developer relation with Joey at Microsoft Canada. 20. No, actually, I'm not that old. 14, say 15 years ago, something like that. And yeah, the accordion was always part of of Joey. It's part of his personal brand. I love it. But I was talking about Joey just because, and I'm trying to look for what I was looking for here. Is speaking of Joey, Joey's going to be at DevRel New York next week. I'm going to be there too. Unfortunately, Chris won't be with us. But yeah, just wanted to let people, if you're in New York, I'm going to be there a little bit before, a little bit after, not too long, because finally during summertime, there's not that many conferences, which means that I'm not traveling, which means that I can stay at home. But I made that exception for this one because that's the DevRel. It's the Developer Relation Conference. It's a conference finally specifically for me as a DevRel person. So if you're in New York, let me know, hit me up. If you go to the conference, also please say hi if you cross paths with me. I think I'm going to try to take as many selfies as possible with other DevRel people. I don't know why, just because
You should.
I want to do that.
You know, I stopped doing selfies long time ago when like Twitter changed. But now,
oh God, yes.
Since it's fixed, I might start taking more selfies because people will actually start liking the tweets and people will see it, and there's going to be so much more engagement. So
that is a crazy thing that happened like 2, 3, 4 days ago. I don't know. I realized about it, like I just realized about it like 2 days ago. I used to spend so much time on Twitter, like probably an unhealthy amount of time on Twitter, because I spent years building my people and connecting with the people I care about and the topic that I cared. And there was like, if you ask me like, what is your social media? That was Twitter. And shit happened, acquisition to change the algo, to change stuff, and I was like, what's happening here? Like, I don't see my people anymore. I was starting to doubt, like maybe I'm just getting boring and people don't care about my stuff anymore, and like people were not reacting, and like I barely had like comments to the things that I was sharing or likes. And I didn't see the people that I care about. I saw a lot of things, but not the people that I cared about. And I was like, okay, I think it's not me. It's just broken. I talked to other people, and other people were like, yeah, no, we're moving away to other places, to a point that is so terrible that LinkedIn was starting to be my social media, which for me, it's a problem. But yeah, LinkedIn was starting to be my place. And I was like, it doesn't make sense. But like 2-3 days ago, I was like, something happened. I went on Twitter to do something work related, and I see like a couple of people talking about the timeline, and I was like, okay, I don't see that. But I stayed on Twitter a little bit longer, and I was like, holy shit, like I see faces. Like you, for an example, I saw you often on LinkedIn, like sharing stuff, but on Twitter, I barely see you, and we're connecting things forever. And since the last 3 days, I saw 4 of your tweets, which was probably the thing that I've seen probably like 2 of your things in the last year, and you were still active. So they changed something.
I woke up the other day and fired up Twitter, and I had 20 plus notifications.
Yes.
For my personal Twitter. I'm like, holy shit. I haven't seen that in years. So that's cool. That's really, really cool. Just like people that I thought, like, I try to compare it to like the blip in the Marvel movies. Like everybody was gone and now everybody's back. You know what I mean? It's pretty gnarly when you think about it.
It is. I had the same thing like this morning. I was like, oh my God, like every time I share something, I have like a couple of likes or comments. And it was not like that for the last, I don't know, year, maybe 2 years. I can't even remember. And it brings back the fun. And it's not even about the number. Like, I don't care about the likes. I don't care about like getting more visibility. Obviously, like a little bit, because that's my job. The more visible I am, the better. But personally, it's just like I was missing the interaction with the people I cared about. And now it's back. Like I see the things that people I care about, that are connected. I have some interaction, some discussion, which made Twitter the social media for me. So hopefully, I'm a little bit cynical about those shit. So I don't know how long that's going to stay like that. But hopefully, yeah, let's do that, because I think Twitter is back. The proof also is like, I see in the stats also for reasons. The DevRel show was always more popular on Twitter than like even YouTube or any other places where I stream it. And there's already more people on Twitter like live right now, which means that people saw the videos too, which is something that I lost to in the last couple of years. That was the reason I was paying for Twitter. You need to pay now. Like after Elon bought it, you started to need to pay for everything. So I had to pay to be able to stream there because that was the most popular destination. I was still paying for it, but I was like, no, I wasn't sure it was worth it at some point, but like now it's back. So anyway, maybe you hear it from my voice. I'm just so excited that like Twitter is back. I feel like I can breathe again. Like I can talk to people.
I got goosebumps the other day. Like when everybody's saying, oh, hey, we're back, I'm back, we're back. And then I got those notifications and I'm like, holy shit. Like I had goosebumps because I'm like, the OG Twitter feels like it's back. Yeah. So it was really cool. Especially when you live on it. Like you and I lived on Twitter, not LinkedIn. I was always pro Twitter for everything. If you can ignore the bullshit and the drama, Twitter is a great platform. I wouldn't be where I'm at today without Twitter.
Yeah, me too.
And that's the truth. And now it's like back to the way it was sort of, and hopefully it just keeps improving.
Yeah. Now, hopefully it's going in the right direction. Again, we'll see. A bit cynical about those things, but we'll see. Hopefully it's going in the right direction. But yeah, so folks, if you see one of us on Twitter, say, we're back, you're back, Twitter is back. Let's have some fun again. Let's do the community stuff. Let's have discussion together. Because I felt like and I'm stop talking about Twitter after, but like I really felt in the last year too, that I was there just to push my things, but like it was in the void too. And I was like, yes, okay, there's part of it. Like I use it to get visibility about like new blog posts that we do or new interviews that I do video or publish or stuff like that. But like it was always about like the discussion and connecting with people. And I totally lost that. So now it's back. So let's continue to have fun there.
Well, you bring up a good point on that. I know we want to stop talking about Twitter, but
no, it's fine.
I haven't seen a lot of engagement with stuff that I've been tweeting about from work or blog posts or even like the TuxCare Twitter account itself. Not a whole lot of engagement, but I think that's going to start changing now because of that algorithm change. There's going to be more visibility, not just in corporate accounts, but personal accounts like yours and mine that are putting out information about company stuff or blog posts or videos, webinars, or anything that we find interesting.
Yep. Yeah. No, I agree. Also, there's that positive cycle that like personally I was on Twitter less and less. I was still going there maybe by a bit and I was still sharing there because I was like, yeah, it's still there, it still exists, there's still people, there's still like people following me. Hopefully they're gonna see my shit and we're gonna be able to have a discussion together, talk together. But I was spending less and less time, and now because I see everybody who's like overjoyed but like, oh, Twitter is back, I feel like that's going to bring like that positive cycle of like, oh, because like now Twitter is fun again, I'm going to spend more time on Twitter. And because I'm going to spend more time on Twitter, Twitter is going to be fun again. And like you're going to have that cycle. So hopefully, as you said, like you're going to see like more views, more reaction, more visibility to the stuff we do, but also all the fun part that like we lost with the previous algo that they had or whatever they've done, that like it was becoming like just a shit show. But yeah. Another question for you. You talked a little bit about it, but TuxCare. What is TuxCare exactly?
We are not a tuxedo cleaning company, first and foremost.
Do you have any people that like when you have swag on you or they ask you like?
That's happened. Someone at a conference asked if we did stuff with tuxedos and why we are here at the conference. So ever since then, when I'd have people, I did this to somebody in California for an event, and it was hilarious. They walked up to the booth and they said, "Why are you here? What do you do?" I said, "Oh, we're a tuxedo cleaning company." And they literally glitched out for like 20 seconds and just stared at the TuxCare logo on the backdrop. And part of the team I was with, they were just dying laughing. And I watched him for like 20 seconds. His eyes were big and he's like he didn't understand. He couldn't process what I said.
But there is.
And I told him, I was like, "Hey, I'm just joking, man. This is what we do." So, TuxCare, we do a few different things. We do endless life cycle support for end of life applications, libraries, frameworks, operating systems. So if you are running anything that's end of life, which means no longer supported by vendor or community for security patching, we patch those security vulnerabilities that are out there that are identified, the CVEs, the common vulnerability and exposures. We patch those, and you pull in our dependencies, and you replace yours with ours, and we keep you patched as long as you use as long for like, I hate saying this piece because I always get tripped up when I try to say it, as the source of the security patching, whatever you do, we'll keep you patched, right? We don't want you to stay with us forever, because at some point you're going to have to upgrade on your own.
Oh.
You're never going to learn if you don't upgrade your systems, right? And if you need us down the line again, you can use us. So like if you're running older versions of Angular or AngularJS, Nuxt, we just released support for Nuxt 3 a few weeks back. We got support for Bootstrap, and yes, there is a JavaScript element to the Bootstrap framework. If you're an old schooler, you know Bootstrap. If you're even older, you know 960 grid system. We have tons of stuff for Java, PHP, .NET. So we do that. And then we have another product called KernelCare, which is live rebootless patching for Linux distributions. We support 60 plus Linux distributions. Yeah, where you don't have to take your system down. It's patched within nanoseconds as long as a kernel is available. It's a rebootless patching system that we offer called KernelCare. We are the creators of Alma Linux, and kind of Alma Linux kind of took its own path, but we offer the enterprise support for Alma Linux. And then the big thing that we just released this year in May is Secure Chain. That packages kind of with ELS, where, like I was saying earlier, it's kind of like a dome of armor around an ecosystem. So anything that you would pull from NPM or PyPy or Maven Central, I think it's called, for the Java side, you are protected before it ever goes end of life until it goes end of life. And that's where you get into the ELS portion of that. But anything that you would pull in, not just a language or a package, right? It's anything from the NPM ecosystem that you're building with the front end. It's vetted, it's malware scanned, and it's secured within itself outside of the hazards of being, what's the word I'm looking for? Exposed to the rest of the supply chain.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know about all that. I know a little bit about TuxCare because, funny enough, people may not know, but like I interviewed for the job you have, and you got the job, and I was happy for you. Sincerely, I was happy for you, and I think you were a better fit anyway for that specific like product and company. But I didn't know everything that you're doing, which is pretty good. Because, security is important. I think a product like that's going to be even more important with like right now and everything that is happening and all the vibe coding and like all the AI and people not reviewing stuff. And on top of that, I think it was important also before. I mean, like it's not something goes end of life. You probably need to upgrade at some point, but like maybe right now is not the right time, and you have reasons not to do it. But like if you don't have a product like yours, you're kind of like opening yourself to like potential like security issues happening. So
100%. Like upgrading it takes time, right? It people time. It's a huge overhead. You could break so many different things. So then that's when our company like mine would come in, and you bring in our stuff. We keep you patched while you figure out your own migration path. So like I like to tell people, we're a patch while you figure out your patch, essentially.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, buddy.
I like that. Good one. I love this. I just thought about you do also at TuxCare, you do that live stream every week, I think.
Every Wednesday, yep. Every Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern.
So if because you do that every week, you're always looking for guests. So if someone wants to join the live stream, like what kind of person are you bringing in the live stream? How can they reach out to you? Like if they want to be guests, I think let's promote your show.
Yeah, DM me on Twitter, Sultan Burnham. DM me on Twitter if you want to be on the show. I'm always actively looking for guests. It's Wednesdays, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Next week, I have a guest. Ed Charbonneau is going to be on the stream with me. I have a couple more guests coming up. I don't stream when I'm on the road, so I just try to tend to stream when I'm at home in a good, comfortable space, right? But I'm looking for people all the way up until the end of the year. So DM me. I can send you a booking link, and we broadcast it out to Twitch, the TuxCare YouTube channel, TuxCare's Facebook, my Twitter account. We're having issues with our corporate Twitter account, so we can't broadcast it there, but it's broadcast to LinkedIn. And then once the video is out there and we're done, I'd send it to you, so that way you can just promote it out to your community.
Yeah, and I've been on the show, so he has great guests. But no, like joke aside, that was fun. We had fun. It's also great opportunity to chat with Chris. And if I remember, I demoed Tiny MC too, so you gave me space to like talk about my product, which developer advocates, even if it's kind of like our job also to do that, we don't always have the possibility to do it because most people, company, conferences, organization don't like product pitches. But Chris was like, no, let's talk about your stuff. Like that's going to be fun. And so that was great. So join the show if you want to. Same thing, always for my show. If you want to be a guest, go on fred.dev/devrelshow. Join as a guest. I'm always looking for people. With that said, though, I have a pretty good wait list right now, so that may take a lot of time, but you still need to add yourself to the wait list. So I can schedule your episode at some point instead of like just waiting for me to have space to have you as a guest on the show. One of the other things I like to ask my guest, because I'm just curious, and people listening, you tell me if you're tired. That like I often have like the 3 same questions part of the discussion. Like there's that kind of like natural discussion, but I always also came back to those kind of like 3 questions. You told me if you're just tired to get the answer from guests after like 50 something episode, but I'm not tired, so I will probably continue to do it anyway. I'm just curious. Nobody or nearly nobody started their career in tech as developer advocate. We always had a job before. As you said, most of us were engineers/developers. I'm seeing for you were a senior UI engineer. Actually, you had you were a developer advocate before, and after that you switched to senior UI engineer, developer advocate. But prior to that, you were an engineer, you were a developer, front-end developer, senior UI developer, or software developer, no matter what. You were a developer before. What brought you to the dark side of DevRel?
I think being an extrovert and wanting to be involved in the community, the early 20 teens, being in the Detroit area, there wasn't a huge meetup scene. I went on meetup.com back in the day, and there was like a Joomla meetup and a Drupal meetup in a Jug, I think, a Java user group. And I'm like, well, I'm a front-end developer. I don't want to be in any of these. So I let it sit for about a year or so, maybe 2 years. And a buddy of mine, I was down south, and a buddy of mine was telling me, he's like, hey, man, check this out. This, you got to go on Meetup. Because he ran his own Meetup for something totally outside of tech. He was like, yeah, I told him my issue. He's like, well, go back on Meetup. Maybe they updated, some Meetups in your area. Well, went back, and then a bunch of things showed up. Refresh Detroit, GDI Detroit, which stands for Girl Develop It. There was a bunch of different ones. So I got involved with Refresh Detroit at first, and then I got involved with GDI, and then I started going to meetups. I became like an assistant, like a teacher assistant for a couple of them. Then I started giving talks at meetups, and then I just wanted to start speaking at conferences. So I submitted to a conference in 2016, and I got in, but the company I was working for at the time wouldn't let me go. They wouldn't even let me take the time off to go. So I had to reach out to the organizers and tell them I couldn't make it. I eventually left that company, went to another one, and then got invited to the second conference I ever spoke at, which was CodeMash. And I was going to CodeMash prior to that. But I went to CodeMash, had to give 2 talks. That was 2017. I think I did 5 or 6 talks that year. And then 2018, I think I did 30, not including meetups. And then always fluctuated back and forth. But I mean, being an extrovert, wanting to teach, I had a background in writing and a background in speaking. So it only made sense. it only made sense to put myself out there and try to be the ambassador that we are today.
No, I like the story. I mean, like it's the same. I still like to ask the question, even if the answer is kind of like always the same. Where like I started to do things that were like developer relation, and like, oh yeah, I could get paid to do those kind of things, and I started to get paid to do those kind of things. But like the story is always still a little bit different, like depending on your background and how you approach it. So I always think like it's super interesting to understand where people come from. I think it was a little bit the same for me too. Like I'm an extrovert. I like to help people. I love to code, and I always say that like I miss coding full time. Maybe not right now with everything that is happening, but like I used to miss coding full time. But when I put this on the scale, I mean, I love DevRel so much, and I'm like, yeah, it's fine if I don't code full time anymore. I still code as part of the job. You need to, create demo. You need to learn technology. You need to prepare your talks and stuff like that. You need to test your product, but it's not like coding full time or you were like a software engineer, you put things in production. It's been forever that I didn't put something serious in production because I've been doing DevRel for a while now. But it's really most of the people like it's a job, but like we all started with like, as you said, like there's that kind of mission behind it. We're like, now I want to help developer being successful. I want to educate them. I want to share my expertise, share my experience. I want to represent them, be their ambassador. So, I mean, I didn't see a lot of like DevRel people there now, and maybe I'm patting myself on the back or ourselves on the back, but like I feel like we're all good humans, like decent humans, and the ones that are not, they usually don't stay that long in that role. And there's other reasons why you wouldn't stay long in that role, but like I feel like if you do that and you do not care about the people and the developers and your audience, I don't think you can be successful. So
I agree.
I think you coming from like I took everything that I just said from like the 3 sentences that you said. I thought it was coming from there. That you caring about like other people and like having a job where like there's an opportunity to be able to do that.
Yeah, 100%. You have to care. There's a people element to this that AI will never replace. And that's just something that we have to kind of hold on to. So,
yeah. And speaking of that, probably going to be my last question about AI and DevRel. I'm curious to, if you want to share, maybe you don't want to, but like what's your thought about like, AI and DevRel and our jobs? And like, I've really, I don't know, set in stone kind of like feelings about and thoughts about it, but I want to hear yours before I share
so
mine.
do I. So I at one point in my career, I lost a job to AI, which sucks, and it is what it is. I don't have to worry about that anymore. I think, I have thoughts too, and I might piss people off if I say it, but I still think this whole AI thing is a bubble. And at some point, it's going to pop. And we know it's going to pop. I like AI. I like using Claude. I like using ChatGPT and Gemini to help me get thoughts together and brainstorm and kind of flesh out certain things or scaffold certain things out. But I mean, it's just not the end all be all. It's just not. That's just how I feel about it. So sorry if I piss anybody off. It's no offense to anybody. That everybody's doing amazing work in those spaces. I haven't got fully on board yet.
Yeah, and also my question was around like DevRel, like because like there are people that are starting to talk about like you can replace a lot of like what DevRel does with AI, and this is where I draw the line, and I'm like bullshit. Like the job is centered around the human. Part of it, like it's we connect with human, we're human connecting with human. So, and maybe I have some bias because that's also my source of income. So I would really like to be able to do that until I'm either tired of doing that or I'm retiring. But I mean, I think it's going to be even more important because we're slowly removing the human from the equation at so many levels. That like having a human you can talk to, you can relate, you can share the good, the bad, and the ugly of being a developer, and that can help you being successful. I think our role is going to be even more important with like everything that is happening right now. I was a little bit worried. I have a new manager, and I thought it was coming in as like, okay, now we're going to try to like use AI as much as possible, limit the resources and everything, and maybe he's going to do that with like other teams, other department. But we had a pretty good discussion, and he understands DevRel, and it was like, no, like there's little things you can do with AI that can help you, but like we will not replace you with AI. It doesn't make sense. It remove the nature of developer relation if you start to, having your blog post written by AI instead of yourself and having your own sauce and your own approach to things, or you start to have like those generic videos when like, no, like the job is yes, your experience, your expertise, but people hire you because you're you. They hire you because you're
Right.
Chris, and because you have like that personality, because you have that approach, and this is what makes sense for the company, and this is what makes sense for the audience you're trying to reach out. So there's a lot around that job that is like about the personality, about the approach, about like how we do things. So I think that part's going to be there for a while, I hope.
100%.
Yeah. Anyway, on that note, I think we could talk forever, but I think that will bring us to the end of the show. So is there anything you would like to share with the folks before we end the show?
Yeah, so follow me on Twitter, Sultan Burnham. Follow TuxCare on Twitter. That'd be really cool. Or check out TuxCare.com if you want to know more about what we're doing. Check out the live stream every Wednesday. There's also a new stream that we're doing called The Weak Link, which is like a breaking news cybersecurity thing. When things happen, we try to cover that. We have a senior news reporter named Vance Patchley. He's a pretty slick guy. If you haven't seen Vance yet, go over to the YouTube channel and check it out. I'll be at Chain React at the end of the month doing a lightning talk on React Native security, JavaScript security, and then I'll just kind of be on the road since then. I'll be at Black Hat US in Vegas. Commit your code. The list goes on. So.
Sounds good. So it seems that for you, the conference season doesn't stop for the summer. For me, usually summer means that I'm staying at home, and usually, with the exception of the DevRel Con, because I think they do it for the summer, because most of us usually don't travel during summertime. Conference season is going to start again for me mid-September. But on that note, just reminding you, if you're in New York, or whether you are at DevRel Con or not, I may have time to go for like a drink or dinner or coffee with someone while I'm going to be in New York. So I'm going to be in New York next week for DevRel Con New York. And also join us next week for the next episode of the DevRel Show. I'm going to have Eder as my guest from Yugabyte DB. And on that note, thanks everyone for joining us live. Thanks for the people also watching the recording. Thanks again, Chris, for being on the show. It was a pleasure to have you. And have a good rest of the, morning, afternoon, evening, night. And see you soon, folks.
Peace.